Hello, this is the start of a tutorial on how to make this drawer. So far, my advanced students have made this drawer, or made this cabinet, this carcass, and it's now time to make this drawer and see if we can't go ahead and put this together. So what we want to do is be able to generate the drawer dimensions from any student's actual shelf. So when we look at their shelf, they're going to already have the carcass made. The carcass technically does not include the face frame. If they have plywood, they're going to need to include the face frame, which should be 1/4 inch thick and should be as wide as the wood that they're building with. If they're building with 3/4 inch wood, the dimensions would be 3/4 by 1/4. And so at this point, then they can draw out their projects, put on the face frame both in reality and on their carcass, and then they'll be able to make a drawer that actually fits. So the idea is to come up with something like this, which is going to be your carcass plus your face frame depth if you need that. And before you start, you need to double check by taking the select tool and making sure that every piece in here is actually grouped, so that when you, and then now that was inside, there's the back, okay, and also the face frame is also all grouped, so that nothing here, let me see, you can see the back probably better out here. There's the back. Okay, so that when I take a look at this, nothing is going to be sticky and will cause a problem and not let me pull this part out. If it doesn't pull out, that's the problem pretty much. Okay, so for me to draw the exact size of the inside, I want to start with a purple dot, and then I want to go up and make a purple dot over here, and then this will have this unusual translucent look. I'll get the push-pull tool and I'll pull that out even with the front. Okay, now at that point I've now filled that space, and I'll be able to make a drawer that's exactly to that size. It's going to make things kind of easy. So I'm going to take the move tool. Now I noticed that I took this, and if I click once, it clicks the face. If I click twice, it clicks the face and the perimeter around here. But I actually wanted to select that whole box inside of there, which I can't really see, but if I go 1, 2, 3, then I'll be able to take this and I'll be able to pull it out. Now as I pull it out, see when it's on the green line, if I hit the shift key, it becomes darker. Once that's darker, I can pull it out without having to worry about it moving around. And there, where I let go of it, now see I can get it back on the green, click it into place, and I'm set. Hit the select tool so I can begin to work with this. It's easier if I now will take this this cabinet and hide it. Hide. Now I can look at this and make it work. Okay, so both of them, for this cabinet, for this drawer to fit in, it needs to be narrow enough that it doesn't drag. So I'm going to move it in 1/16 of an inch here. As we do this, whoops, escape. As we do this, everybody's is going to be different. Your cabinet needs to fit your drawer needs to fit your cabinet. So make sure that you make it so it is exactly the size that you're building. I want to move down about 1/2 an inch, and on the back I don't want it to run into the back of the cabinet, so I'm going to shorten it by about 1/4 of an inch. It's just so that any little thing that bumps out there doesn't run in the way. Whether I build out of plywood or solid boards, I'm going to build out a 3/8 inch plywood for most small boxes. So let's do that. Okay, so before I head into this, I need to take a look at the depth of this box. It's 2 3/4 inches. Okay, so that gives me information about how far to push down the top. since I'm going to build out of 3/8 inch plywood, I need to move in by 3/8 of an inch. 3/8 of an inch using the offset tool, and hitting enter brings that edge in. I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. Notice I activate the bottom, grab onto an edge, move in, then type 3/8 of an inch and hit enter. Okay, I'm going to want the bottom to be up 1/4 of an inch, and the bottom is going to be made out of 1/4 inch material. The inset of the bottom, that is the dado lip, and then the bottom, the dado itself, will be another 1/4. So 1/4 and 1/4 is 1/2. The total depth of this particular box is 2 3/4. That means if I subtract 1/2 an inch off of that, I'm left with 2 1/4. That tells me how far to push down the top. Okay, so when I take this and turn it down, I can push down 2 1/4 inches. Whoops. And I now have my box. Okay, so at this point, all I have to do is draw in the box with the dados. On the rest of my box, I built everything where I actually built the specific pieces. That's called additive building. Well, one time, for the very last piece, you can do subtractive building. So what I'm doing on this is subtractive building. So I won't actually be able to break this apart and see all my individual pieces. However, I can pull all my necessary measurements off to make this little drawer. Okay, now on this, notice if I grab the midpoint and I go across, that works. Or I can grab onto a sideline and I can pull this, whoops, I can pull this over, but I can't really grab onto a corner because that makes a line. So when you grab onto this, make sure you grab onto this edge, and I'm going to pull this over. Since it's 3/8, I'm going to pull over 1/8 of an inch. In other words, that's my dado depth. Now, when we build a box normally, it can become any size we want it to be. In this particular case, I need the box to be the actual size of my carcass hole, so that it will fit in there. Okay, so the reason I put that line in there, that guide in there, is so that I can now take the line tool and I can draw my dados. So now there's my 1/8 inch in. Now, once I get this drawn, I want to point out that one of the important parts about a drawer is that a drawer doesn't pull itself apart. As I look at this drawer now, I've got enough drawn here that you can see that if this drawer was in this opening, it goes in and out this way. Notice the way this is going to become built is so that this side is continuous. Because this side is continuous, it really helps me out a lot. It lets this box not pull itself apart. Okay, that's why I do it with the ends being continuous. Okay, just a moment here and I'll have all the dadoing done. Notice that I'm looking for the corner dots. See, I'm going to attach to that green dot, move across to the red dot, reactivate it by hitting a dot, stop, make sure I'm on it, reactivate it, pull down to the blue dot. I'm going to make sure in every case that I am connected. Now down here, I need to make more guidelines. Remember, those are generally 1/8 of an inch with a 3/8 inch box, enough to make a really good solid lock. It makes a great drawer, super solid, will last for a very long time. And the truth is, I'm just basically going to draw those same lines on the bottom. I'm going to only draw one of them here, so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. it's exactly like the top. Okay, now at this point I want you to see that it's going to be useful for me to pull off some dimensions. Okay, I need these dimensions so I can build my cabinet. If I have these dimensions will allow me to make this cabinet so it's exactly like so it fits exactly into my carcass. So now I need to be able to pull out dimensions. If you have the simple tool set still, you need to go to View, Toolbars, that's unusual. View, Toolbars. Let's see what's going on here. I don't understand why it's doing that. Okay. Show screen tips and toolbars. Okay. Whoa. View toolbars. Close. Okay. So what I was going to say is you need to make sure that you have the large tool set so that you have the dimensions. That seems to be a glitch. I guess I'm going to have to live with that. Okay. So you can see that I've made another one over here that says drawers. I'll show you that one in the end, but before I do that, let me grab some dimensions. And some of the things that I need to point out in here are the lengths of the actual components that I need to make. Of course, I need to make sides. My sides are going to be 14 inches. But notice that my box overall is going to be 14 and a half. A 1/4 inch longer here and a 1/4 inch longer over here. Well, how tall are they? Okay, they're going to be 2 3/4 inches tall. And then the last key piece that I need is that these ends are going to be 5 3/4 inches long. So with that, armed with that information, I am set and ready to go forward. Now notice these dimensions. Okay, sometime in the past I made this same SketchUp, and here is the other drawer dimensions that I made at that time. So there we go.